and Minardi, respectively. It's very hard to win here from lower than the second row of the grid. In fact, it's only happened twice. Nigel Mansell won his Ferrari from 12 in 1989, and Jenson Button took a victory for Honda from 14.
Hello everyone and welcome to the next round, finally, of WLR. We are here in Hungary for round 2 of 12 in this season, as we are watching SJ Williams, one of the Tier 2 drivers from last night, fly around the first and now into the middle sector as we get underway for what is hopefully going to be an exciting race. We have 16 drivers out of, well, obviously a possible 20, but the fact is actually only 9 are full-time, or maybe even actually only 8. A lot of reserves here today, but a lot of Tier 1 reserves, so it makes me a lot more excited for today other than last week, as we finally get another driver into the lobby. SJ Williams now comes into the pits, so that is the end of him. Next, I'm pretty sure, was Tyro, who came out of pits. He is back for the first time since racing in CTCR quite a long while ago, as we see him now go through turn 2 and now through turn 3. He actually started on pole here on last year's game, and he's going to hope to maybe try and improve again further this year, as he didn't look great at the start of the game, but I'm sure he's just holding himself back, the Dutchman here, as he goes up towards turn 8 and 9 now. This lap so far doesn't seem to be going that bad. He hasn't invalidated, which is already a good start, and as he now finishes sector 2 just around now, again the Ferrari of SLR Quattro keeps out of the way for what could have been a championship winner in CTCR almost 3 seasons ago now, back before Christmas of 2022. He finished 3rd in that championship. He's going to come to the line here in Hungary, and he sets the first time a 1:16.2, so it could be better, but it's not a bad lap at all from Tyro. Owen Curry has invalidated, which sets the eye on Douglas, who has just set the fastest middle sector of anyone. Now his competition is obviously his reserve teammate, so not necessarily a bad thing for him, as here he goes now, opens DRS and crosses the line and beats him, only just about though, by a few tenths of a second. Next to cross the line is an Aston Martin of Hyper, who sets not a very competitive lap time there. I'm sure he'll try and improve. After that comes George Ansell, and wow, smashes the times there with a 1:14.9. Next is Legend Life, and not a bad lap there from him. After this comes Days, who goes just ahead of his teammate and still a second off the McLarens. Next is the Haas of SJ Williams, followed by Kofi, as they're just starting a lap. After that then comes Cayenne coming to the line, P6, not a bad banker from him. After that, SLR Quattro, the only Ferrari out on track at the moment, finished on the podium in Spain after a report, and he's currently in the podium places at the moment. He goes 3rd with a 1:15.790, and that brings the end to the first runs of qualifying, notably General Hutt, Dark Fusion, and Ixa Fox all haven't set a lap in that little first run. They've all stayed into the pits. I think General Hutt actually came out for a bit and then came back out. General Hutt, obviously known as one of our co-owners, Clark. Here's Owen Curry setting his first competitive lap, goes 4th fastest. Now both Alfa Romeos, I'm pretty sure, are 2 Romanian drivers, both PSGL drivers, and we'll see what they have. Bogdan full-time, and White has actually just joined the server there 2 minutes ago, and we'll see what he has to offer. next across the line as SJ Williams makes it through all this traffic, and it looks like Bogdan's going to get out of the way for him. We'll see what the Haas can do here now as he goes round turn 14 and he gets his foot on the power towards the line. Here goes the Haas. SJ Williams P7. Behind is Kofi, goes P6. After that is, I'm pretty sure, White slowly coming around that final corner and getting ready to set a lap as he spins the car, and that is not going to be him setting a lap at all. He's actually been static here for a while. Want to make sure he doesn't get disqualified. I think he's okay. He spun the car, he's got away alright. But that is unfortunate because he won't be able to set a lap. He's going to have to go around again if he has enough fuel to do so. So we'll ride on board with, I think, the only driver I see on a lap at the moment, which is Bogdan Moldovan. Just subbed in there after last week in Spain. He subbed in for the Alfa Romeo driver of Taylor, who dropped all the way to Tier 3. He is now a official Tier 1 driver, and we'll see what he can do. The time to beat is a 1:14.9 by the man who finished P2. Obviously he had his account banned, so he's on currently a second account, George Ansel, on pole position. Can the Alfa Romeo maybe take him off it as he comes out of final corner? Here comes Bogdan to the line. It is a very, very decent lap, especially in the final sector, and he misses out on provisional pole by less than 1/10 of a second, so still a lot to improve. It's going quite well at the moment there, obviously, despite the spin at the start, meaning he would pretty much have no pace at the start of his lap. We'll see now if he's going to be ready to come to the end of his lap. And here he is now, he's going to go again. This time you'd want to hope he doesn't spin. He doesn't, and he's on the power now and goes 11th, but obviously it's not a competitive lap time. He is now going to head down towards ahead of him is Magnus on a lap, but we'll keep an eye on White because he seems to definitely have a driver with a little bit of pace as he comes through the first sector. He's 8/10 down, so he's definitely maybe ran out of fuel, or either that or he's harvesting, so I think he isn't on a lap. So we'll switch to Magnus, who is on a lap. F.R.L. Clark, or whatever his name does be. Magnus is what I'd like to call him. He's had a big shunt there, coming out of 10, or coming out of 9 I should say, and he has smacked the barriers, lucky to keep his suspension intact. But after a shocker of a qualifying in Tier 2 last night, he hasn't made up for it so far here in Hungary. The Mercedes driver currently in 14th. Tyro has abandoned his lap. Everyone else, I don't think anyone else is on a lap. David is. We'll keep an eye on him and hope SJ Williams gets out of the way from here now. He has set the fastest middle sector, improving on his own there at the front of the pack as Williams does get out of the way, but he's actually kind of put something almost in the way. I think a bit of a braking board into him, as here comes George Ansel now to the end of his lap, and he's over 1/10 up now. This is definitely going to be a very, very competitive lap time from George Ansel. Through 13 he goes. He just needs to, there's a lot of time to improve on here in this final sector of the lap. Here he goes. George Ansel to the line now. He gets DRS open just about now to the line. He improves by just under 2/10, and it is looking like he's going to be a real favourite for pole here this evening.
America has swung here 4 times, and their tenor is right. We are deep in European summer now, so make sure you're packing shade and sunscreen. It's likely to get hot out there this weekend. Temperatures can reach well over 30 degrees outside, so just imagine how sweltering it must be in those continents. McLaren can boast the most wins of this circuit with 11 victories. But at this track, with its unique characteristics and unusual turns of fate, anything can happen. At its debut, the Hungarian Grand Prix was etched into the history books as the first Formula One race held behind the Iron Curtain, the boundary separating Western Europe from those allied with the Soviet East. It's very hard to win here from lower than the second row of the grid. In fact, it's only happened twice. expect the unexpected come race day. In the last 20 seasons, the winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix is...
It's lights out and away we go. Just a bit delayed, but I am back. Dark Fusion is sat on the line. He's obviously disconnected. Bogdan Moldovan goes down the inside and takes the lead as the safety car is pulled out, obviously for Dark Fusion, who is sitting on the line. And as Hyper also picks up a penalty and is dropped to the back of the pack. But Dark Fusion is out of this race as it starts. Bogdan, down the inside of George Ansel, takes the lead of the race. He must have got pole. We'll have a look here. I haven't gone through the grid. So it was George Ansel on pole with Bogdan on the front row alongside him. EXA Fox started in third and got him, started in fourth and got all the way up to second. Legend Life started in third, with Quattro in fifth and Oven Curry in sixth. White started in 10th and went all the way up to third. Days in 12th up to 8th. Cayenne went from 15th all the way up to P9, with Tyro dropping 2 places from 8th. Magnus has gone from 14th up to 11th, so a great start from him. SJ Williams from 13th up to 12th, and then Kofi, Douglas and Hyper, I think, were the 3 involved in that incident. They've all lost major places. Kofi from 7th, Douglas from 11th and Hyper from 9th. As Bogdan comes round the corner, we'll see if any of these drivers come into the pits. Magnus does, so too does Kofi, Douglas and Hyper. Douglas picks up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not good for him, as he picked up wing damage as well and is now in for a set of hards to probably maybe even go to the end and a new wing. He'll come out in 13th ahead of Kofi, and Hyper still remains in last. I don't think Magnus had to replace his wing. I think he just came in, wanted to get the set of hards on. He's going till the end. A big gamble, and he has every right to do it. So, that is the start. Yeah, thanks Quattro. I did. I had a nice sip of Coke there, and it was very nice. Ate his tea. No, I didn't, Jake. I had me dinner. Fucking horrible timing. Dinner made at 8:10. Apologies for that. Alright, Hyper Quattro. I see you are all a bit distressed, but I would like if you could please focus on the race and get out of AI mode, because it is, yeah, dinner should be in the middle of the day, Jake. That is right. You can ask my dad that question. It's been a nice getaway. Obviously, it seemed to be clean, other than, obviously, I think Hyper went straight into the back of Kofi, which, to be honest, he's saying he broke so early, but I have reasons to believe that won't be the case. We'll see now, as Douglas is back into the pits to serve his penalty, of course. Very smart decision. And he's going to get back on the mediums and just go from where he once was. Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong, Alfie. Yeah. Breakfast, lunch and dinner. I don't have tea. Well, I drink tea, but what is a tea? Like... Anyway, can we get off my my eating schedule and maybe start focusing on the race? Of course, it's a great start from debutant Bogdan, as Hyper's picked up another penalty for a collision with Kofi. Now, I'm sure he's going to throw all this into the reporting incident, but being a reserve, he has to be careful in those situations, and like more or less he's going to lose out than Kofi, as the safety car does finally now come in this lap. Bogdan on his debut here. We'll see, can he hold on to the lead? Now, on this safety car restart, we've had a total of about 400 metres of racing. Hopefully we have at least another few hundred metres until we get to turn 1, as Bogdan still hasn't gone yet. We'll watch now. As he is gone, he's away, and I think EXA Fox has got a good getaway. Side by side is Legend Life and George Ansel into turn 1. EXA Fox is going to maybe try go round the outside of Bogdan. They collide, and EXA Fox has to go off the track. He may be jumped here by Legend Life. They both go side by side now as they head down towards turn 3. It's Bogdan from Fox, from Legend Life, from George Ansel, Oven Curry and SLR Quattro, as Fox gets a great exit, and he may try it on Bogdan here. Bogdan defends well and keeps the position as they go into turn 5 now, as it looked like Legend tried to sneak a wheel down the inside. He's had to compromise his line, as Oven Curry now is looking like he's going to have a go and gets up into 4th place ahead of George Ansel. As someone spun out at the back, it's SLR Quattro. SLR Quattro is gone at the 6-7 chicane. He has dropped all the way down to last, as Fox is still right on the back of Bogdan, and there's an almost collide as Fox goes around the outside and into the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. The Red Bull Reserve doing a huge favour for his Dutch teammate, or his Dutch counterpart you should say, as he's already now got a 5/10 advantage and sets the fastest lap of the race from Bogdan. Legend Life jumped George Ansel, and he's starting to kind of go on a little bit further as well, as it looks like White and Days are side by side here going down towards turn 2. They go side by side now through the chicane. We'll see, hopefully it ends clean. They're still side by side as they go through turn 3, and that's a brilliant move from White, the Alfa Romeo driver, as Tyro follows him close through. Both of them get through the corner very nicely, and a very, very nice move there from both the Alfa Romeo and the McLaren driver, as Fox already seems to be breaking away there in the lead of the race. The gap is just a second now. Bogdan, he's going to try and keep hold of it. You can kind of see where the front runners are breaking away though. Oven Curry is falling behind. Obviously White will catch up probably soon. He definitely has some rapid pace. Alfa Romeo look like they could be a strong outfit if White does replay. That's someone off in the back. That's Hyper. He's into the wall, and I think he may have collected SLR Quattro as well, and that is going to be yellow flags, and Hyper, I think, may have damage from it, as Fox, he is breaking away massively at the moment. As George Ansel now, I think DRS will be enabled this lap. He's going to look to try and get by Legend Life. He was battling with another legend last week, and you think he's going to battle with a different legend, this time replacing last week's race winner Jaden. As they touch, they collide, and they spin round into turn 2, which has allowed Oven Curry to get up into the podium places. I can't really know who could be at fault there. George Ansel tried to sneak a wheel down the inside, and they've both collided, kind of like myself and Marshy last night. We don't know, a Stewart's inquiry will definitely look at it. Legend Life, he has every right to be fuming after that, but it's a dream for Oven Curry, who's got himself up into the podium places here on his WLR debut. His Days seems to be struggling here at the back. The tier 2 full time in Red Bull isn't quite flying it like he'd like to be. He's losing places there for a moment, but George Ansel, despite the spin, has caught up to Oven Curry really quickly. He is showing some incredible pace at the moment, the Alpine driver. But Oven Curry, like shown in the past, is not an easy driver to get by. Bogdan and Fox are starting to break away from the pack. Both of them are probably just going to go into cruise control mode now for the rest of this race, and hope that no one hits the barriers and brings out a second safety car. It's already a lot better than Spain. I think we had 3 safety cars by this point. Oh, well, at least 2 anyway. We have got so far 4 clean laps of very, very nice racing. A few incidents here and there, but nothing too major, as I think the connection issues have definitely solved themselves as well. Obviously, I'm sure there's a few hiffs and buffs there like last night, but it has been relatively smooth sailing so far. So George Ansel in the DRS of Oven Curry, and he's within 5/10 as well, which really is an overtaken kind of zone when you're coming into a long straight. In Hungary, it's really the only straight, only overtaken opportunity. That and turn 12 are really the only 2 overtaken opportunities. My favourite spot would be turn 12. We'll see if George Ansel's favourite spot is turn 1, because it is not even turn 1, turn 0 on the straight. He had got by and back up into the podium places. Whether he keeps that, well, he'll find out in a few days' time with the Stewarts, and also possibly in 27 laps time when we cross the checkered flag, as the Alpine driver breaks away and is going to try and fly away from the Alpha Tauri of Oven Curry. A favourite for the Spanish Grand Prix and this Grand Prix, but he's still yet to win an official WLR Grand Prix. Jaden is the only person with the WLR race winner role, which is actually soon going to get its own private kind of club where you're able to chat amongst, and there'll be a few giveaways, we should say. Hopefully in the next few weeks we'll be given more information on that. I'm sure Legend and Magnus are wondering what I'm talking about, but I've kind of been doing this myself, obviously as head of recruitment. I'm always trying to find new ways to recruit drivers into the league, and I feel like this could be a little bit of a new thing that might pop on well. Douglas on the back of SJ Williams here as they go powering down the straight. Douglas is already miles ahead before the braking zone and is up into 8th place. Finished, I'm pretty sure, in 6th last week. He's hoping to finish in the points again. A strong showing after what was a very disappointing start from the McLaren driver, as Hyper picks up another penalty. And SLR Quattro has pitted off his mediums, has replaced his wing, and has got on a set of hard tyres. And Hyper, I'm pretty sure, is going to get by him now because of that. Hyper, obviously, with 3 seconds of penalties, that's not going to help his case on getting by. So Tyro's starting to drop off a little bit from Owen Curry here. He seems to have some good pace, the AlphaTauri, as AlphaTauri have not scored well so far in WLR. They were pointless in round 1, but it's looking like so far 12 points are imminent, at least 10 laps into this race. We have no idea what Owen Curry has to throw up for us. Now on this new game, he might be a different driver, but he definitely was known to a spin. Themselves and Alfa Romeo, ironically, are the two teams without points. AlphaTauri running okay at the moment, but Alfa Romeo have been pretty good as well, with White in 6th and Bogdan in 2nd. Another team has gotten off to a poor start is Red Bull. Well, they won't be off to a poor start soon because EXA Fox is leading the race with the fastest lap of the race. We'll see if anyone can catch him. White is getting onto the back of Tyro here. They go through turn 5 now. Tyro is now out of the DRS of Owen Curry. If Owen Curry can maybe break away a little bit more from the McLaren driver. That's a lovely camera angle there of all the drivers going through the 5 or the 6, 7 chicane there. So we now have 12 viewers watching. Thank you to everyone tuning in. I'm sure it's a lot of the full-time Tier 1 drivers who are currently away on holidays, and maybe even a few from the lower tiers, maybe seeing if they can learn something. If you were, and you probably were available, I'd like to know why you weren't racing, because of course I was quite satisfied the fact we were able to get 16 tonight, but 8 full-time drivers in the lobby. I think it's actually only 7 because Ramon didn't show up. That is very, 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 very good. Here comes White. He's going to go round the outside of Tyro, and he's got up into 5th place. Both Alfa Romeo drivers in the top 5 here, and hopefully, unlike Williams of last week, they're going to hope to stay there. Of course, Jaden still won the race, but Kofi, I think they were running 1 and 3 at one point. Kofi ended up DNFing that race, along with at the same time with a collision with the driver currently in 16th. Dark Fusion disqualified off the line for being AFK. So White is up into 5th, and I tell you, if he had some serious pace, that's someone round. That's Legend Life. He's off. He's into the barriers, and the virtual safety car is brought out. That's wing damage for the Williams after a collision with George Ansel. I'd say about 5 laps ago, his race has gone from bad to worse here in the Hungaro ring, and to be honest, it's almost like a perfectly timed safety car, because I wonder who's going to make the gamble into the pits. I'm surprised Fox didn't, considering it's a virtual safety car and he is on the soft tyres. Most lads aren't. White is going to be the first to gamble in on the mediums, along with Tyro behind him, who was obviously on the hards. Douglas doesn't want to double stack. Legend, of course, will come in. SJ Williams is also going to come in. They're going to use this VSC to their advantage. Kyan stays out, with Kofi going in to double stack with his teammate. He might lose out time from this, of course, because of Legend Life getting the wing replacement. We'll see. Here they are. They're still replacing that wing. And this green flag. So Kofi should have probably stayed out from all of that. He is going to lose time in the end from this. And is probably going to lose out place to, I think it was Magnus and Kyan who were around his spot. He took a longer than expected pit stop, and Williams, who, needless to say, was running really well, and they're actually leading the constructors, are now both out of the points, along with Aston Martin, who, well, to be fair, haven't had the best start to things anyway. But we're back underway, and the gaps have really widened out. I've just realised there that Tyro has jumped back past White in the pit lane. So whether that was a wing replacement or he was held up by other drivers, he could have actually been held up by the Williams drivers. I think he probably was held up by Kofi, and in doing so, Tyro has managed to jump him. So White has a job to do here. As Magnus, he's really slow at the moment. Who's that? That's Kyan and also George Ansel. I tell you, they could have came into the pits maybe a little bit before that. He's came in, he's lost out now to Owen Curry and Douglas. Whether that's a ring replacement or something, I think it's because of all the time he lost from the VSC. That's a yellow flag. That's Magnus into the wall. And the safety car is out for the second time this race. The safety car is brought out. And did he reset the track there? I don't know. It is noted. I think it could have just been a visual glitch, but we'll have a look anyway. But now, like I said, that's perfect timing for Bogdan and Fox. Whether or not Owen Curry, I think, might get by them anyway, because obviously he got to catch up through the... No, because Owen Curry and Douglas actually didn't pit. I apologise. So we'll see. Now, obviously, George Ansel did pit on the green flags, so he's definitely not going to be able to catch them out. And we'll see now whether or not he loses out to Owen Curry, who is currently making his pit stop now. But George Ansel's come back into the pits, and he's going for a two-stop. So Tyro now is not only going to probably get back by his teammate, he's going to get by George Ansel, and he's going to get right on the back of Owen Curry for a potential podium place, along with White. SJ Williams is going to continue on, and he has probably now, if he can speed up a little bit, he may have a chance here to get up into the top 6, or the top 7 I should say. He's definitely going to at least get up into 8, obviously, from General Hutt, who's sped in the pit lane, unfortunately. He does. He gets by George Ansel, and SJ Williams is up into the top 7. The driver who is driving for Haas in Tier 2, I'm pretty sure he is anyway. Yet he is reserving for them, and he's doing them not a bad job at all. Obviously, Haas currently are 5th, made properly middle, smack bang in the middle of the constructors, and are currently now also have a car in the midfield of the pack tonight. So Fox kept the lead from Bogdan, and Owen Curry keeps his podium place. Tyro, now obviously with George Ansel and all his problems that he's having, he's also actually got right into the back of Legend Life, who I'm sure is happy now that that safety car is brought out and a chance for him to get back into this race. And he's going to get by the man who ruined, or he's going to get right up behind the man who ruined his race, you could say, nearly 10 laps ago now. So maybe a little bit of a rivalry forming between the two blue cars, the Alpine and the Williams. We'll have to find out. We'll hope that SJ Williams is definitely going to hope that he can maybe break away and score some solid points for his team here in Tier 1. Hasn't been much of a battle out front. Fox has comfortably led this race from Bogdan, but now with the safety car coming out again, can Bogdan show maybe a little bit more venom to the back of the Red Bull. Obviously, both of them having pitted onto the mediums now at pretty much perfect times. Can they bring them mediums to the end? Owen Curry has decided to play it safe. He's come for the hards. And he's going to go now. Of course, he'll definitely go till the end. Whether he'll hope now that the two cars ahead, that those mediums wear out a little bit more than his hards. And he might be on, obviously, the stat for him, never won a Tier 1 race in CTCR, and the current Tier 2 head admin. Well, with all the work he does with me, I would love to see him win this race. That said, I wouldn't mind seeing anyone win this race, because with Jaden not racing, no matter what, we'll have another driver with the race winner role at the end of this. And I'm hoping this season brings a few more race winners, other than, well, what Quattro brought to a few seasons in CTCR, and obviously Alfie won a lot of races in WFC. I'm hoping that maybe in this league there's a little bit more variety with our race winners. Need an OG to win at least one race this season. Well, what defines an OG? It's Jake May. I think you're probably as OG gets, all the way back in the Saturday night racing days. But you think of OGs, you think, like, really there's not much out there that are OG. Randro hasn't joined the league. Obviously there's yourself. Obviously Owen Curry I'd consider quite an OG, joined in season 3. Tyro as well. We'll see what they have to offer. But we're going to ride on board with Bogdan. And can he get back onto EXA Fox? When is he going to go? He has gone now. And he's left Bogdan for dust. And Owen Curry has got right onto the back of him here. Whether or not he can get into the lead, we'll have to see. Around the outside goes the AlphaTauri. Bogdan defends well, and Owen Curry is not going to be able to get the place. And he's maybe going to become under pressure a little bit more by Tyro. They all go through the first few corners fairly single file. No one wants to make a move on anyone at the moment. Kofi made a move on Kyan. He's up in the P9. So both Williams drivers are running outside the points. Now they're both inside the points, as the two front runners you can already see are kind of creating a little bit more of a gap from Owen Curry than the others, as Bogdan is definitely getting a lot closer to Fox than he ever did on the first stint. We'll see whether or not he's going to be able to overtake him because of that. As Owen Curry has already dropped out of the DRS of the drivers behind, and I think that's mainly because he's trying to defend from a rapid McLaren of Tyro behind. And White as well is also going to be right close behind, because he was originally by Tyro and now he's to try and get by him again, and then maybe get by Owen Curry as well. But you can already see there on the mini-map, it's like a snake, and the head of the snake is these two drivers who are leading by, well, 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, as Fox picks up the fastest lap and is already breaking away from Bogdan here. That being said, fastest lap, and I think he only started to get on the throttle as the start-finish line went, as SJ Williams gets by, has a little bit of a battle down there with Kofi. These two I think are probably side by side at the moment. They are going through turn 2. They're going to try and stick it out. Kofi going to try round the outside into turn 3. He's just forced off track. It's good defending, and SJ Williams keeps the place. Some good racing there by the two of them. And it is very touch and go, but it is fair. I don't know if that's fair, because Kofi's gone straight into the back of SJ Williams, who's spun round. Kofi's also lost places because of that, which has put Magnus and Kyan both into the podium places now. As it looks like that audio glitch from last week has come back again. It was not a very nice thing to listen to. I'm probably going to put down my audio because of it. As Bogdan now closing in on the Red Bull. Bogdan keeps the place. Or Fox keeps the place. Tyro getting close to Owen Curry, but not quite close enough here. We go through. It looks like someone side by side. It's Kofi and Quattro. These two are known for battling, having some very good battles in the past. And just like last time, Kofi this time is going to try to take the inside line that Williams took when he was battling with him, but Quattro takes a really good line down the inside and keeps the place on the Williams driver, both outside the points at the moment. Look at that, it's deja vu here, because these two are back at each other again, the Williams and the Alpine driver. It looked like Legend was going to try go down the inside of George, but George kind of wasn't having it, and I think Legend was kind of just thinking to himself, obviously not like the Max Verstappen kind anyway, he was kind of just thinking to himself, I went for this, or someone went for this on me, and we both spun out and lost places, so I might just back out here and hope that this guy does something as idiotic as what happened there, I think around 15 laps ago. And he's going to try it maybe on the Alfa Romeo, who's gaining quick. Magnus has had another forgettable race here in Hungary, and his start to both the Tier 1 and Tier 2 championships have been very, very disappointing. So White has fallen out of the DRS here, and George Ansel is now going to go down the inside on the Alfa Romeo driver and take the top 5 place off him. Now he's going to be his job to now try and get as close to the McLaren ahead as possible, and maybe get up and back into the podium places, at least where he started. He started, I'm pretty sure, on pole position, and it doesn't look like he's going to finish there. He finished second last week. I think a P3 guarantees that he will be leading the championship after this round. As Kofi has got by SLR Quattro there, as Magnus has hit the barriers again, and he's still down in last place. Himself and Hyper have had a race to forget. But look at that, 6-second gap. Owen Curry is doing a brilliant job in being able to defend off Tyro, but for how much longer? Because Tyro is close, and he is kind of keeping close. It's all about just getting that better exit out of the final corner. Owen Curry gets a great launch out of that final corner. We'll see what he can do now. George Ansel has all the pace, and even with DRS is gaining on the McLaren, but Owen Curry is doing well to lead this DRS as Legend gets by White, as White on these new set of tyres has seemed to lost a little bit of pace as SLR Quattro is into the pits, and I'm guessing it's going to stick on a pair of mediums or possibly even softs till the end of this race. Tyro very close to Owen Curry here. There's a real battle for a podium here. I would like to look at the battle for the lead, but it looks like Fox has just done an amazing job out there in keeping that P1 at the moment, as Magnus has picked up a penalty for speeding and has retired in the pit lane. His race was pretty much over, and I think that is fair enough from him to retire at that stage of the race, considering the position he was in. The only problem is now that he's going to be causing a few yellow flags down there at turn 1, and if Tyro would like to have a go at Owen Curry here into turn 1, he may not get to do it because of the retired car. for some reason coming back out onto the main straight. Tyro is going to try and get the move done before the yellow flags. He is up, but he has lost out again. They go side by side now. Now the yellow flags are out, so they're all going to have to yield position here. Tyro has banged wheels with Oven Curry there. I don't think he has given back the place yet. Whether he gets a penalty or not, we'll find out. Side by side they go. Up towards now turn 4. It's side by side between Oven Curry and Tyro, as Tyro looks to have got the place, but Oven Curry goes back down the inside now towards turn 5. Into the chicane they go now. Who's going to be last on the brakes? Is it going to be the McLaren? Is it the AlphaTauri? It's Tyro. He's into the place, and Oven Curry with a snap of oversteer loses all those positions and has spun out from the podium place and is now down in 8th, 9th and now 10th place. Heartbreak for the AlphaTauri team, as they've gone from 3rd and 10th to 10th and 9th. But Tyro, I don't think he'd done anything wrong there. Oven Curry generally just, I think, looked to have lost the car by himself, which means Tyro, with a 10-second gap to the car ahead, is in the podium places. Now, whether or not he's going to be able to kick this McLaren into gear and fly away from George Ansel we're yet to find out, as that is Oven Curry again, who's spun out. Has he hit the barriers? It'd be a horrible place to do it just after the pit lane. I think he has just avoided them, and it's only a spin. So George Ansel now, he might actually be happy to see that happen, because now one car is out of his way that he has to deal with, and now the car ahead also doesn't have his rear wing open when going down the main straight, which makes the Alpine going to be a lot quicker in that straight line. George more than likely will get by. Whether or not he can spend that 12 laps catching up and getting possibly a win, well, we'll have to find out. But first he has to get by the papaya car of Tyro. We'll see now. Tyro was kind of just bouncing, you can see, over that part of the track. His car very, very unsteady as George now comes round the final corner. He's on the power. Oh, a snap of oversteer. That's not going to help his chances. He's still so fast in a straight line with DRS as well. He's going to pull to the outside, his signature move all weekend. He's going to go round the outside of Tyro, probably going to get the better exit and breeze back into the podium places, back where he should have been 20 laps ago is where he's back now 20 laps later, and he has now 12 laps to catch 12 seconds on the cars ahead. Whether he'll do it, we'll find out. Tyro hasn't dropped as far back as I thought he would already. I thought over the next few corners George would fly away, but Tyro is kind of keeping with him here, maybe showing he has equal pace. If he does keep with him, he might be able to get back by him, as SJ Williams has had a spin on the exit of turn 4, and well, it doesn't mean much. He's still out of the points. So Tyro, he has lost the place, he has lost the DRS, as days, or is that hyper around again? It is. Hopefully there is no more safety cars. We'd not like to see one, as the rest of these guys are all kind of in a bit of a DRS train, so it doesn't look like much is going to happen here. The two drivers. Yep, Cayenne is in Tier 3 actually, and he's doing a brilliant job from Tier 3 up in P9. Obviously he had a great race, I'm pretty sure, on Thursday night. I didn't actually get to watch it, but he's having a great race here. And as SJ Williams speeds in the pit lane, and whether or not he retires or not I'm yet to find out. Bogdan is kind of kept that gap to the lead kind of the same for the whole race, but as of recently he's getting almost within 5/10, which obviously is that stage where you are looking to try and overtake the car ahead. We'll see if he can get ahead. Now, as we head down the main straight, EXA Fox, he defends really well. He has a great setup around here, clearly, in defending from first place. George doesn't seem to be catching up too well. I think that's his race settled. P3 on the podium. It looks like these two are settled, that they're going to finish first and second. Which one is going to finish first and second? Well, we're going to have to find out in the next 9 laps or so. So far, it's Fox who has led every race, or every lap of this race, since the safety car restart on lap 4. He got into the lead at turn 1 and has stayed there for the majority of this race. Whether Bogdan can get back by him or not is yet to be found out. What is interesting is these two, the Williams and McLaren of Tyro and Legend, are still getting quite close. Yeah, that is quite unfortunate, Magnus. Rear wing damage, pretty much out of this race. White is kind of closed in. It looked like Legend was maybe going to start to close in on Tyro and get a move, but he's actually kind of backed off a bit, whether that's purposefully or a lack of pace. He has gone from around 4/10 to 7/10, and he's definitely not going to be able to get the move done here. White seemed to have closed in a bit there, but they're all kind of just the same width away from each other. As SJ Williams comes out of pits and in 14th place has been lapped. Himself and Hyper have been lapped by the whole field. Quattro and Days, the other 2 drivers, they're out of the points, but they haven't been lapped yet and are far from it. 39 laps, or I'd say 35 seconds, I'd say they are from being lapped, so a pit stop for them should be okay. As Quattro, I just seen on the mini-map, goes down the inside and takes the place from Days and up into P11. 10 seconds to Oven Curry. Well, that's definitely a question that someone else has got to answer. Bogdan really close to EXA Fox here, the closest he's been all race. Can he get a good exit and maybe get a move done here? DRS opened. He is gaining. He's within almost 2/10 now. Is he going to go for the move? He just stays back. As he's going to now, a snap of oversteer. Back with DRS open again. He's going to go down the inside now to turn 2. These two finally go side by side. The Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull, as Bogdan takes the lead of the race and gets up into first place for Alfa Romeo. EXA Fox has been leading this race for pretty much 24 laps now, as it looked like, I think that's Kofi or Legend. Legend has hit the wall, and that is a virtual safety car, so perfect timing for Bogdan. Burns all his battery, gets up into first, and now a virtual safety car to reharvest some of that. And he is back into first place since lap 1. Well, a few laps there, a bit crazy. Now, we hope no one gets a drive-through here and ruins their race. A drive-through pretty much ends your race here with 7 odd laps to go. But Fox is obviously going to try and stay as close to Bogdan as possible to not fall out of the DRS, because everyone behind has fallen out of the DRS, it looks, of Tyro. Douglas has fallen out. White seems to have fallen out just about. Legend has been closing up to Douglas. He's actually got by Douglas there, because I think he is into the pits as well. Someone's picked up a drive-through. I don't think it is a very important person. It's Hyper who picks up a drive-through penalty, as I think White and Tyro are going side by side here. They are. There's a bit of a desync here. Well, it's not really a desync, it's just SJ Williams' AI going through them both. as it looks like White has not been able to get the place off Tyro. Tyro keeps 4th place. Is falling further and further away from George. That means falling further and further away from a tow, but at least he is nice and close to SJ Williams and may be able to get close enough to get a bit of a tow himself and possibly defend from White, as Douglas, his McLaren teammate, is also starting to get up close. That's yellow flags. That's SJ Williams in the barriers. That is another virtual safety car. We'll have a look now. Yep, he's hit the wall there, just luckily at one of the outposts, which means it can be removed quite easily. It's just another VSC, which I think is perfect for Bogdan, because Fox has fallen out of the DRS again. Hyper is retired in the pits. We're now down to only 12 out of 16. I tell you, if you tell me 3 DNFs and one person who didn't start, pretty much 3 DNFs out of 15, I'd definitely take that coming into this race. Next week, we're hoping to have, I think, 5 full-time drivers back, and hopefully a few more new full-time drivers that have reserved tonight to get a few seats, and we might have, you never know, a full grid. But at the moment, a lot of holidays. It was probably not a good time, and it's definitely not going to be the time we'll start. We'll definitely start a lot later on next year's game. Unfortunate for some, but it's not capable. We're going to have a lot of big plans going through this game's lifespan, and then next game we're hoping to possibly we're going to keep those plans secret, but we're definitely going to have big plans until then. And we're hoping that maybe some of these drivers are going to help us with that. Bogdan has definitely helped us today. As Douglas has picked up a drive-through, and that could be his race completely over with now. He's picked up a drive-through. He's going to drop probably behind Owen Curry now, and he's closed. Now, whether White can get by Tyro, the real matter in hand for Alfa Romeo is whether or not Bogdan can hold on to the lead against Fox. There's 5 laps to go, just starting now, and Fox is closing in on Bogdan again, right on the back of him, trying to get the best exit. That's Legend in the barriers. He's gone straight on, must have took a big spin, as more and more drivers are starting to retire, but I think it's getting too late for any sort of safety car to come out. 19 people watching the stream. I tell you, if you are watching, please remember to subscribe. We need as many subscribers as we can to try and grow the channel, grow the league. Obviously the TikTok is going extremely well. We've just reached over 100 followers. Instagram's getting up there. But the YouTube's where the races are at, where the races are live streamed, and it's where the main event is happening. So you need to subscribe and turn notifications on to keep up for updates. You'll obviously be notified in the server anyway, through the WLR live. Now, how alive is the Red Bull of EXA Fox, who's going to go down the inside of Bogdan to try and get back by the lead of the race. They're side by side going down towards now turn 2. The long left-hander. Can the Red Bull take the lead? Yes, he can. He's almost a car's length ahead, and is now back to the lead of the race. These two have had a titanic battle, and it's been brilliant to watch so far. And we wonder now, with 3.5 laps to go, which Titanic will sink. Will it be the Alfa Romeo? Will it be the Red Bull? And which one will reach its destination of the checkered flag? We'll have to find out in just over 3 laps time. We'll also find out who can maybe take home P4 and possibly P7. Well, I think Owen Curry or Douglas will, because of Owen Curry's penalty. He may just tuck in behind. But White, I'm sure, would like to get maximum points for the team here. Get by Tyro, and hope his teammate also gets by EXA Fox. Bogdan, I was saying earlier, doing great help for the league today. He got not only Legend, but also White into the league. He's good friends with the Ferrari driver of Azoles. He has done some incredible work to make sure we've had an entertaining race today, and not only in the fact that we've had many drivers to make it an entertaining race, but his driving today has made this race very, very entertaining as we head down towards turn 2. And how entertaining will it be for him to cross the line first and win the race for Alfa Romeo, currently last in the constructors. I tell you, they won't be last after this weekend if they cross the checkered flag first. They could be first with, I think, a possibility here now of picking up 37, possibly even 38 points if one of them can pull a fastest lap out of their pocket. 1.5 or 2.5 laps to go, and Bogdan still behind the Red Bull, still trailing, maybe trying to harvest that ERS, which looks to be quite similar to the Red Bull, looking at the onboard of their steering wheels. George is burning, but he doesn't have anywhere near the pace of the front runners. He has pace a lot quicker than the midfield, but nowhere near the front runners. P3 is almost going to be guaranteed for, I think that's driver number 3 of George Ansel in the Alpine. Bogdan closing in on EXA Fox, 2 laps to go, and that's one more lap where he can't get by. Now there's a few more overtaking opportunities across the rest of the lap, but he's not going to get by there. It doesn't look like his teammate's going to be able to do the same either. Tyro has defended like Max Verstappen today, the Dutch driver defending from the Romanian driver, which I'm pretty sure is Romanian because he's Bogdan's friend and Bogdan's Romanian, so that's just an estimate. But he has kept close, but he hasn't got close enough. Here go the Alfa Romeo and Red Bull. The next kind of position to get by is coming up soon, down at turn 12. Can the Alfa Romeo get by? He's definitely a lot closer than he was last lap, at least for going into the straight. He's going to have a nice last few corners here of 13 and 14. They're a killer corner in terms of dirty air and trying to get on the power as quick as he can. But as EXA Fox starts this last lap of the race, we'll see who's going to cross the checkered flag first. Will it be the Red Bull? Will it be the Alfa Romeo? As Bogdan is closing in on EXA Fox here for the lead of the race. He's going to go down the inside. The Alfa Romeo tries to get the place. EXA Fox has to go off the track and try and hold on. Bogdan's through at the moment. Is he ahead? He is ahead. He's up into the lead by a full car length now. Can he keep it for the rest of the lap? We'll have to find out, as Fox is trying his best to try and get as close as he can, but he's not going to be close enough. He has maybe one more last overtaking opportunity down at turn 12. He's been leading for the majority of the race, but he's not going to be leading at the end of lap 35, which is the most crucial time to be leading. We'll have to find out. He is really, really close to the back of that Alfa Romeo. Will he be able to get by here towards the end? It's looking unlikely. He's got a good exit though. Can he maybe line one up towards turn 12? He hasn't gone for it. It's looking like the Alfa Romeo driver of Bogdan on his WLR debut here in round 2 in Hungary has left it late. He's left it very late, but late is better than never, as Bogdan Moldovan crosses the line and wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. EXA Fox finishes in second in the Red Bull, behind, you can not even see him in the distance yet, but it's George Ansel to cross the line and take home a second consecutive podium for Alpine. And it's looking like it is going to be Tyro ahead of White for P4 and P5. Next across the line, another one of the favourites today, but unfortunately with a race full with incidents, he could only bring home a very decent P6. Owen Curry is going to come home in 7th, but with his, I think, 3-second penalty, Douglas is going to take it off him. Quattro already had a penalty, is going to stay in 9th, and Cayenne is going to be the final driver to bring home double points for AlphaTauri. But an amazing last lap means that Bogdan Moldovan wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, and you could consider that maybe a little bit of a home race. Obviously, Hungary, Romania are quite close to each other, both over towards Eastern Europe. I don't think they're bordering. I'm not very good at geography myself now, but it is definitely probably that and Baku are probably some of the closest races to his home country. And to win the race, there isn't anything better. A brilliant race, as he's going to take home all 25 points and 35 points for Alfa Romeo. So, as we finish this race, it's Bogdan Moldovan to win the race from P2 on the grid. EXA Fox in the Red Bull, both drivers on their debut, have put in an astonishing performance. But it's the Romanian who takes the win in the Alfa Romeo, who have been quite dominant. They've won 3 out of 6 races so far. And we'll see. Obviously, there is the report, but we'll see if he keeps it. George Ansel finishes in 3rd with Tyro in 4th. White finishes 5th. Kofi in 6th. Douglas 7th. Oven Curry in 8th. SLR Quattro 9th. Cayenne in 10th. Days 11th. Legend Life in 12th with Hyper in 13th. SJ Williams in 14th. Magnus in 15th with Dark Fusion not starting in 16th. I've been Gaffo. This has been the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we'll see you next week in Monza.